With Daredevil returning to the MCU, there's been long-running speculation that the rest of those Defenders are coming really soon. And recently, Power Man himself, Mike Colter, has chimed in on his possible future in the MCU or even as Luke Cage. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about what he said and what unfortunate direction I think this is going in. Well, Marvel really did develop a couple of really cool characters in those Marvel television series on Netflix, and Luke Cage really did resonate with fans. Fans have been wondering for a long time if he could be part of the new MCU, and once Charlie Cox's Daredevil returned, that speculation went into overdrive. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about what the actor recently said about the role, and why it doesn't look very likely he will be coming back. Now, before we do that though, make sure you smash that like and subscribe button, and ring the bell for all the news. We want to be your place for all the Marvel and DC news, but we want to bring it to you truthfully and transparently, so you are actually in the know. Well, as many of you know, Mike Colter played Luke Cage on Netflix from about 2015 to 2018. Now, unfortunately, that show, like most of the others, got canceled early, and we were actually left with a cliffhanger for Luke, with several story threads completely left hanging with no answers in sight. Now, with the return of Charlie Cox as Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin, many of us have been wondering about the rest of those Netflix characters. We've heard multiple rumors about Jessica Jones and the Punisher making an appearance in Daredevil, which would see Krysten Ritter and Jon Bernthal return, but there have been a ton of questions about Power Man. Many fans really loved Colter's take on the character and been wondering if he once again could return to the MCU. Now, recently, the actor himself was talking with comicbook.com, and they talked a little bit about Heroes for Hire and the potential for him to return to the role as Luke Cage. This is what he had to say. It's one of those things where it's in the rear view mirror at this point. If somehow I get a call, my dance card is kind of full. If I get a call, something happens, great. I had a good time. I'm happy. More than happy to let someone else take on the mantle or the role. That character's living on for a long time. Fans are going to have to continue in one way, shape, or form for the rest of their lives, and I'm happy to have been part of it for those guys. Now, quite honestly, it's been 5 years since he played the character, so I kind of understand if Mike Colter has just moved on. He really does have some other very successful projects, and he might simply not be looking back or at the MCU with any hopes for the future. Now, I do have a little bit of a different take on this though. Quite honestly, Mike Colter is nobody's fool, and if you look at everybody else involved in those Netflix shows, Krysten Ritter, Finn Jones, Jon Bernthal, really everybody surrounding it has made it very clear they really want to return if the MCU starts picking up these characters. He very well might be playing a bit of a game here, understanding the value of his own presence, and how if you get all the rest of the characters to return and you don't have Luke Cage, that's kind of weird. This really does seem to me to be a move by Mike Colter to kind of make it pretty clear he's not just running back to Marvel, and if Marvel wanted him to return, they would actually have to reach out to him, talk to him, and negotiate in a way that works for him. That's a way smarter position than basically begging to return and hoping they throw you a bone. Now, I'm pretty sure Luke Cage will be part of whatever street-level heroes Marvel is developing for the MCU. This is something Feige has talked about quite a bit, and with Daredevil being 18 episodes, I do have the sneaking suspicion that we will get introduced to a lot of these street-level characters in that show, and this question might get answered sometime in 2024. Hopefully we see Luke Cage return to the MCU. He's a huge part of the comics and a fan favorite in many corners of the world. As for Colter, I'd love to see him return. I thought he did a good job, but I am kind of curious on what you guys think about that.